Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Content Market Webinars by DICM. This webinar series takes place on the third Wednesday of each month and aims to share insights and experiences from experts in the industry. For this month, the theme of the webinar is Series What's New. We will discuss topics such as can comedy or thrillers or action series overtake drama in terms of popularity? And is international adaptation a new trend? And we'll also talk about success stories from 2021 and 2022. Our two speakers for today's webinar are Kelly Sheck, Sales Manager responsible for EMEA at All3Media International, and also Julia Fischer, who is Director of Drama at ZDF Studios. I'm Victoria de Kerdrel, Asia Pacific consultant for K7 Media, based in London and Singapore. At K7, we work with clients the world over, from the US studios to the Asian networks, global streamers, producers, and distributors to create, source, and sell the best programming. The headquarters are in Manchester, and we have a network of consultants around the globe. The Middle East is increasingly important to our work, in that our clients see a growing market rich in creative talent and multiple opportunities. Our first speaker is Kelly Sheck from All3Media International. Kelly takes care of finished program and format sales for Africa, Middle East, Israel, and Turkey. Kelly has been with All3Media International since 2011. And she's going to talk to us today about the current slate and the latest All3Media International drama series. Kelly, over to you.
Hi, I'm just going to share my screen, so we just share the presentation with you guys. So just a quick introduction on who All3Media International are. We are one of the leading distribution companies of television programme and formats. We have a catalogue of over 20,000 hours of content across all genres. And we work with over 1,500 broadcasters and platforms all around the world, covering over 200 territories. Our catalogue includes some top-selling dramas such as Midsummer Murders, The Missing, Liar, The Tourist, and some comedies as well, such as Fleabag. And also we have a huge slate of non-scripted and formats as well, including Gogglebox, Undercover Boss, Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, and 24 Hours to Hell and Back. All3Media International is part of a much wider group called All3Media, which is made up of more than 40 production companies, and All3Media International is the distribution arm of the All3Media group. All3Media is jointly owned by Discovery Communications and Liberty Global, so we are a 50-50 joint venture, but we act very independently as well. So just running through some of our slate that's coming up in our catalogue this year. Bit quick there. So we're just going to start off with our corporate reel, just to show you a little bit about who All3Media International are.
Hi.
Hi. You want to have some fun?
Shall we?
Cue the music.
Right, it's on.
Fantastico.
Please, please.
Can you shoot?
If I have to.
We have an unexplained deal.
This already feels dangerous.
Whoa! Yes!
That was mad.
So now it's time for the fun part.
Got no Google Maps, got no mum.
That just changed our lives.
Wow.
The show is everything. She told me I never wanted this.
Every human being has a right to justice.
Really beautiful, actually.
We discovered a web that just keeps getting wider and wider.
We had one opportunity. This wasn't going to come around again.
Here he is, look!
Boogeration.
That is awesome!
I want everything.
Together, we could do something extraordinary. When did our lives stop being worth the same? Wow, sweeten it. Just run.
That's my grandmother.
Oh, Jesus, it's got red on it.
She was lovely.
Really?
Hi, Ashley!
Hi, Joel! It's the best feeling ever watching people fall in love.
That's the reason why we have this show, to be able to change lives.
Not so bad, is it?
I've had the best time. Me too.
So that's just a sneak peek of what we have in the catalogue from our 20,000 hours. But just wanted to introduce you to some of the new shows we've got coming up. So we'll start with the English. The English is a brand new 6-parter that we're launching this autumn, produced by Drama Republic, who are known for Dracula and Sherlock. It's been produced for BBC One in the UK and Amazon in the US, Canada, Australia and New Zealand. And the English is an epic drama series which takes place in the 1890s in mid-America, where we follow our lead, an Englishwoman played by Emily Blunt, called Cornelia Locke. And she is on a journey across America in the barren and dangerous lands of America, of the Wild West, to seek revenge for a horrifying incident that happened to her and her family. And on a journey, she meets Eli Whip, who is an American Indian, who's also on his own journey across America as well. And the two form a relationship and buddy up across America for their journeys, where they obviously meet. They have high octane chases. There's lots of action involved. There's a bit of romance that's that builds up between them, and it's a journey of survival. Can they reach their destinations together? The series is tackling themes of gender, race, love and power. So there's a lot there that kind of carries us through the whole story. The series is due to premiere later on this year, so we don't have any trailers at the moment, but there are conversations happening about major gala launches in the autumn. So it's definitely one to watch out for, and it's guaranteed to take you on an epic and exciting journey. Next, we have The Control Room, which is a 3-parter from Hartswood Film. Sorry, I'll correct myself. Drama Republic are not Sherlock and Dracula producers. Sorry, Hartswood Film are. This is a 3-parter for BBC, set in the emergency call centre where they take 999 calls. And we follow our lead actor, Gabe, who works as an emergency call handler. One day he receives a call from a woman who says on the phone quite desperately that she has killed somebody. He realises that he recognises the voice on the other end of the line, and she recognises him too. It's actually a woman from his past from 20 years ago. So the police obviously are trying to investigate and find out more about who this mysterious woman is. He is also on a journey back to his hometown to find out more about what happened to Samantha, this woman that's called up. And so obviously this is a huge high action thriller, and we have a short trailer to show you.
Ambulance emergencies, the patient breathing.
Dead, I've killed it.
What's your name?
I'm not going to tell you that.
Give us your exact location, we might still be able to do something.
Oh my God, Gable, is that you?
Do I know you?
Who was it, Gabriel?
No idea.
Don't you remember?
Well, she knows you.
I didn't know who else to go.
What's going on?
I've no idea who these people are. The dead man, Gabriel. Wherever you go, I'll find you.
What would you do for me, Gable?
And Another thriller that we've launched recently is Witness Number 3, a 4-parter starring Nina Toussaint-White as Jodie, who is a single mother and a hairdresser who has a salon in an urban council estate. One morning, as she's opening up her salon, she witnesses 2 men walking together across the other side of the road. And what she doesn't realise is that this is the last movement between a killer and his victim before he was murdered. So the good citizen that she is, she reports the sighting to the police, and she quickly realises that she's one of the only informants and witnesses to come forward. So the police have her under protection. She quickly becomes witness number 3, and she's anonymous, but her identity has been leaked somehow. And so the gang that are involved in this murder are terrorising her and her family and her young son that she's bringing up on her own. It's quite a claustrophobic thriller. It's ramping up quite quickly. There's a lot of intimidation. The gang are tormenting her in her personal and professional life. When the police lose witness 1 and 2, she is the last standing witness. And so she wants to deliver justice to the victim's family, and she wants to protect the neighbourhood that she's living in and that she's been brought up in. How far will she go to do the right thing? Here's a little trailer for you.
Now that you've successfully identified our suspect, you've become what we call a significant witness.
Witness number 3. Glamorous.
Was he killed?
He's dead, right? Detective Whelan, she mentioned other witnesses.
A week ago, you couldn't wait to leave this place. Now you're risking your life for it.
So what are you gonna do then?
You're doing a brave thing, Jodie, and it will pay off.
Relocation. This is my home. This is the whole fucking point.
And in a complete change of tone, we have the wonderful series Marriage, which launched this weekend on BBC One, starring the award-winning actors Sean Bean and Nicola Walker as a married couple, Ian and Emma. And we're celebrating the hardship of their enduring love, of their 30-year marriage, all the insecurities that they've gone through over all the years and the warmth, but there's still love that makes the relationship work. That's the one thing that drives them through their long-term relationship. There are some really funny and sweet moments between the two of them. And they're going through a lot of changes at the moment when their grown-up daughter is leaving the nest and she's going to be independent. So there's a lot of changes happening to their family dynamics.
No, it's interesting how young people talk about love. About the heat of it, don't they? The passion, the excitement.
Will you give me a word when you're finished?
When you've been together as long as we have.
You did well to get through a week with him. We were all ready for you to come running back.
27 years on Thursday.
Oh, don't. I think my parents, we just don't really talk.
If there's something you've been wanting for a very long time, Emma, when the opportunity comes, you got to reach out and take it.
Made me get out of bed every morning, made me shower, made me eat. I didn't know someone could be so wonderful.
Everything that's happened, good times and bad times.
Just shut your mouth and come here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kelly. That was great. And during the question and answer session, we'll have many more points to discuss, I'm sure. But just very quickly, since Marriage did air on BBC One on Sunday, do we know anything about its performance?
Yes, so the launch on Sunday at 9 p.m, it rated incredibly well, 3.3 million viewers, and actually won the slot, beat the slot average by 40%. So it's performed incredibly well so far, and the previews have been fantastic. So we've still got 2 more episodes to air next week, so we'll have full ratings in a few weeks' time.
Wonderful. That's great news. Okay, so moving swiftly on, our next speaker is Julia Fischer from ZDF Studios. Julia has been at ZDF Studios since 2013, managing scripted sales. And in 2018, she became Director of Drama and in charge of acquisitions and sales in Asia, Middle East, and Africa. Julia, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Julia Fischer, and I'm working at ZDF Studios. Let me quickly also share with you my screen, and so that I can show you my little presentation. So thank you so much, Victoria, and also DICM for giving me this opportunity to speak to you today. I'm really happy that everyone joined in. As I already said, I'm working at ZDF Studios. We were recently renamed. That's why the first slide is about that. We were before called ZDF Enterprises, and now since April, we have a new name. So we're at ZDF Studios now. We also have a brand new, really beautiful website where you can screen all of our programs in full length. So please visit that. So for those of you, if you don't know much about our company, so ZDF Studios was founded in 1993. We've been around for a long time. We're a big company, and we're 100% subsidiary of ZDF, one of the biggest broadcasters in Europe, and also the German public broadcaster. And we are, so to say, their commercial arm, and we're responsible for program sales, co-production and marketing. And we also have a really huge amount of programs in our catalog that we cannot say exactly how many hours we have. We have everything from documentaries, variety shows, kids content, live action, drama, movies, and everything else. So we're a big company. However, I am only responsible for one part, which is drama. That's why my title is called Director Drama. And as Victoria already said, I am responsible for at the same time for sales, but also for acquisition, which means that if you want to acquire something, so it will be me, but also if you're looking for maybe financing or co-production opportunities in the territory, please reach out to me. I'm responsible for these tasks in Middle East, Asia, and Africa. So I have a wide variety of partners, so please don't hesitate. So since I'm only responsible for drama, I just wanted to tell you that we have everything else. And if you want to reach out and to looking for documentaries or kids content, you can also reach out to me. I will introduce you to the right contact person. So the next slide, I just wanted to quickly show you a couple of our highlights. We have really a lot of programs, and we're constantly adding new ones. And since we are also really active on the international market, our slate is not only German, it's many languages. We are really successful. We're at the beginning at selling, if you know the series, The Bridge, the original Bron, the Swedish-Danish series. We originally started to sell The Killing. So our content and our program offering is really huge in many different languages. And the first program that I wanted to share with you is called Stories to Stay Awake. This is a Spanish series. This is an anthology. It's only 4 episodes. It's more like Black Mirror from Netflix. So each episode tells a different story. It is directed by a different director, and also the cast is always different. So, and one of the directors is has even been Oscar nominated for one of his short films. So this is a reboot of an older 60s Spanish series. with different elements, and each of the movies tells a different story. It's not only horror, it's more like sci-fi, something like really strange things happening in there, and sometimes it's just strange, and it's less horror and more like different kinds of genres. And in the next slide, I will show you a quick trailer of it, and hope it works.
Verán una puerta, puertas que se abren lentamente o de golpe. Me refiero a la vieja puerta que daba paso a historias para no dormir.
Sabes que me ha pasado una cosa muy rara, ¿vale? Llámame si puedes, ¿vale?
Esto es delicado siempre.
Vaya, mírame, mi amor.
Me estoy hundiendo, cariño.
Todo está en tu cabeza, no es un hombre. Ahora solo tienes que sacarlo fuera.
Tenemos que hacerlo, Andrea. No hagas nada de lo que puedas arrepentirte después.
Marquesita, de broma. De broma, Marquesita.
¿Crees en Dios?
No.
¿Recuerdas tus sueños?
No.
¿Pero tienes pesadillas?
Sí.
Yes. So, muchas gracias. Thank you so much. The next series is as well coming from Spain. This one is commissioned by Prime Video and RTVE in Spain. It's as well in Spanish, and this is our latest addition to our catalog. It's called Boundless. This is a historic mini-series directed by Simon West. He has also directed Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, and he also have produced an Oscar-nominated movie, Black Hawk Down. The series stars one of my favorite actors from Spain. It's a professor from Money Heist on Netflix. It's Alvaro Morte. He plays Elcano, and the other person you see on the screen, he's also famous. He plays in HBO series Westworld. His name is Rodrigo Santoro. And this is basically a historic series, a costume drama, only 6 parts, where they travel, where they go on this big ship travel, Magellan, who is the first European to basically cross the Pacific Ocean. He did, however, die during that trip, and he didn't return home. So the Elcano is the only one who actually returned home from this trip. And what they achieved was that they basically found a new route how to go to how to cross the world, and they basically proved that the world is not flat. And this is a series that has been released on Amazon Prime in Spain already. And in the next slide, I will also show you a quick trailer of it. One moment.
Muchos temen el enorme desafío que les ofrezco. Hay un camino más corto para llegar a las Indias de sus riquezas. Lo descubriré para vos. ¡Volvamos a España y hagámoslo con las bodegas a rebosar de especias! Y estaré del lado de mis hombres como siempre he estado.
Yes, so this was the Boundless. Since this webinar is also about adaptations, I wanted to talk to you also about our latest adaptation, which is called Before We Die. We originally were distributing the series from Sweden called Before We Die. It was a great performing series, performed super well in Sweden, was really well received. And then Channel 4 commissioned it as well to adapt for the UK audience. This was released on Channel 4, and they're already working on the second season because the performance were amazing. So we're also working on remake rights. So if you are looking for adaptations or remake rights, you can also reach out to me. This is also something that I'm handling for the territory. So Before We Die was performed so well on Channel 4 that we even have a separate trailer about the performance, which I wanted to show you. So the series tells a story about a police detective who is on a case about her lover/colleague who was killed. And then she's investigating the story, but what she doesn't know at the beginning is that her estranged son, he is the infiltrator in a mafia gang. And so it's not only a crime series, but it's also at the same time a family story where she gets closer to her own son. So we also see all these different kind of sides of the story, not only her as an investigator, but as well her as a mother, and how difficult and challenging it is sometimes to be a mother and to fulfill what you wanted to fulfill in that role. And I also have quick trailer to show you more about what's really happening in the series that I will show you as well.
So what about you? You still chasing petty criminals?
I'm glad to know that you're doing okay after what happened.
Oh!
I warned you, Christian.
What have you done? The first time you kill, it's the ultimate test of character.
Show yourselves, you fucking cowards.
If I can find out anything that might help us track down Sean.
Said he was investigating an Eastern European drug connection. I can feed you information.
He's my son.
150 kilos.
This isn't an officially sanctioned investigation, Christian. All our necks are on the line.
I can't tell you how proud of him I am.
It's not safe.
Someone up there is leaking information.
So they're onto me.
You've got nothing to prove. You are hardwired to survive.
So as already said, we have a really big catalog and we have many programs, and I don't want to bore you with more because I know it's overwhelming. So in case you're looking for any drama from the region, or if you're looking for any other type of content, please see my contact details on the screen, and I will be happy to help you with anything if you have any questions. And please also visit our website where can you screen our programs in full length. And I just wanted to thank you quickly for your kind attention and for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julia, for showing some really strong and very diverse shows. And thank you both you and Kelly for your great presentations. We're going to move on to Q&A now. So I'll ask you both. Yep. So we both have our cameras and microphones switched on. And to everyone watching, please send through your questions to us through the chat, and we'll hopefully get through all of those. We already have quite a few, as you can imagine. I'm going to kick off quickly with a question for Julia, if I may. A question regarding your Spanish language drama. So Spanish language drama is most in demand, is the genre that's most, and the language that's most in demand on the global streaming services. Do you expect to expand your offer as ADF Studios offer in this space? And particularly, how is it working in the MENA region?
So yes, Spanish programs are on the rise. So that's why we have a couple of them in our catalog. We have another one called Anna All In, which I think I presented last time already. So since we're active on the production space internationally, of course, since Money Heist, the demand for Spanish content, and as well in Middle East and the region and all over the world has has been up, and we are currently working, and we're always looking for great programs. That's why what I have shown today to you is basically our latest editions, but of course we're open for more, and we will be actively looking for great content to offer from the region, from Spanish region. But we're not only doing Spanish, of course, we're doing all the other languages. We have Swedish, we have English, we have French, and so many more from all over Europe and from all over the world.
And have you had the opportunity to place your Spanish language dramas in MENA? Do you have any idea of the performance in the region?
So I cannot disclose some things just yet, but yes, happily placed things, and I am looking forward to see how it will perform. And so yes, so MENA region has been really great for Spanish content, and I'm looking forward to do more in the region, and hopefully it will all go well and people will like it.
Okay, just one question before we move on to Kelly, and I'm not sure if you can answer this, but do you dub into Arabic?
So we usually, if we need to, we will. It's all depends on the offer. Make me an offer I can't refuse, so I will do it.
Okay.
So it depends on the deal, of course. Like every deal is different, and usually, of course, like it's better, in my opinion, if someone local who has all the connections, has the knowledge. I don't speak, unfortunately, Arabic. I would love to, but I can't. So I cannot say if they're speaking it right, if it's dubbed right. So I think we should leave it to locals. But of course, we have been a long time. Like Germany is a super. It's a dubbing country, so of course we have all the connections on all the companies. So basically, we could do it if needed. It all depends on the.
Okay. So depending on the deal. Okay, thank you, Julia. Kelly, over to you, if I may. So this question is about scripted adaptations, which have been particularly successful around the world for All3Media International, and many recently, for example, in India. Do you see this becoming a focus for your specific strategy for the MENA region?
It's definitely something that we're working on, and there's lots of conversations that are happening at the moment, but like Julia, can't announce some of them, but more to come in the next coming months, definitely. International format adaptations, scripted adaptations are definitely on the rise for us. As you mentioned, in India, we've had great success with Masoom, which is a remake of our series Blood, and that was #1 Hindi original language series on Disney Hotstar in India for a few weeks. So it's had great performance there. But also something like Liar, which was a UK series on ITV a few years ago. We had 2 series in the UK, and that's been adapted in 7 territories so far, and there's more in the works at the moment. And we've had great success with the international versions as well as the original series.
Great. Okay. Just as you were talking about the success stories of and again, I'm not sure if you can talk about this, but just to show you the interest from the audience is, can you share any success stories from All3Media International in the MENA region, even if it's not sort of like a recent story?
Yes. Recently, a few months ago, we closed a deal with OSN. For the drama package, so a couple of our top-selling dramas, top-rated dramas of this year, The Tourist and Trigger Point, were both in that package. So it's great to see those big thrillers have an audience in the Middle East.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to move swiftly on. We have quite a few questions trickling in. Back to you, Julia. A question about Before We Die. Could you tell us a little bit more about this show following the success of Series 2? Do you foresee future adaptations? Would a Middle Eastern version be on the cards?
So Before We Die is now in the 2nd season. I think it's in in post-production phase at Channel 4. It's definitely a great program to be adapted because there are like some some like general topics that everyone can relate to, like relationship, not only the investigation part, but also the mother-son relationship. And this one was, you know, a great one from UK. There's also many options running. One of them as well is Indian market has been recently really active and looking for adaptation rights. The same, I think, for all three media. The Middle East, we're open, like for partners, if anyone is looking for a great content that that is, I think, something that also could work in the region, because I think in Middle East there are many, like a lot of family stories that are important and family relationships are important. I think this one will also resonate with the audience in the Middle East. So please reach out to me.
So maybe a question for both of you in terms of who is tuning in today. So we obviously have a lot of commissioners, a lot of buyers, but given what you both shared about adaptations and remakes, are you also open to hearing from producers and potential co-producers to facilitate these productions? Maybe you could start, Julia, and then over to you, Kelly.
Yes, we definitely, as you can see, our catalog is really rich and diverse. So we have all kinds of programs from all over the world. And so we're looking for great programs to co-produce and to take over into our distribution catalog. So please, of course, reach out to me for both drama co-production as well as remake rights. We'll also have something in works right now with NBC on one of our series, German series as well. So yes, happy to discuss it, and definitely open for both co-production and remake.
Great. Okay. And is the situation pretty much the same for you, Kelly? What would you say to people tuning in today?
Yes, definitely open to discussions on international remakes and co-production partners as well. In the All Through Media International Catalogue, we're starting to get a lot more foreign language content and non-English language content. So we have a few Swedish series and Norwegian series. We had our first Icelandic thriller series earlier on this year called Black Sands. So we are working more and more with international co-pro partners, and definitely open to more discussions elsewhere. Fantastic.
So Kelly, staying with you, what is your view on shows with an A-lister cast? So this could be The Tourist with Jamie Dornan, or the show that you were just talking about, The English with Emily Blunt. Do you think this helps your sales, or are other elements equally important in your territories?
I think that having an A-lister cast obviously is going to draw a huge attention to the project to start with. Having an internationally recognisable cast, as you know, as the face and the forefront of the project, is always going to drive viewers and drive attention to the show. But there's also good storytelling that needs to happen. It needs to have a good support behind it as well. So with something like English, having Hugo Blick, who wrote and directed the series, he was able to take his vision from paper to screen. And seeing that storytelling as well, I think, is really incredibly strong. But with the term A-lister, you know, I think we tend to use that towards Hollywood stars. So going back to the kind of international adaptations, you know, each country is going to have their own A-listers. So it'd be great to have more international adaptations so we can really showcase local talent on a more international level.
Definitely. Thank you, Kelly. Julia, we've just had a question regarding ZDF Studios' offer in terms of Ramadan. Would you say that your programming lineup is suited for the Ramadan season?
So I have been participating in the Ramadan market this year already from DICM as well. So we definitely, since ZDF is a public German broadcaster, of course, there are also many programs that will can suit Ramadan season, which are family-oriented movies, series. And so I think those programs will fit well into Ramadan season. Of course, not everything. Of course, like European, some of the programs will be maybe too violent or maybe too sensitive, depending as well on what the censorship requirements in every territory is. But yes, definitely there will be programs that will suit Ramadan season as well.
Interesting. Okay, great. And we also have the same question for you, Kelly. Do you maybe picking up on, censorship and your particular lineup for this a very important season for the Middle East?
Yes, definitely. I think All Three Media International's catalogue is so wide that we have, content suitable for almost everybody across all cultures. So understand that there are cultural sensitivities and censorship, and obviously during the Ramadan season, there's a lot more families watching TV together. So yes, we have a lot of variety in our catalogue that could definitely cover that period.
Fantastic.
And I also, wanted to add, as well, I'm only responsible for drama. And of course, we have documentaries, I have animation, kids content, that might be even easier to broadcast. So we have everything, and as well variety shows. So of course, if drama sometimes might go into too much sensitive direction, then there are other alternatives to drama that you can also show.
Definitely. Yes. So we have a question regarding Julia. We read a lot in the news about the alliance that was signed, agreed and signed between ZDF, RAI, and France Télévisions. Could you tell us a little bit more about the alliance, and in particular the show, The Swarm? Where are you in terms of production at the moment?
Yes, so we have a wonderful new program coming up called The Swarm, and we're really proud about it. It is supported by the Alliance because everyone is trying to make, the best possible program they can. So The Swarm is based on a best-selling book by Frank Schätzing, a German writer, and it's produced by Frank Dolger, who is also producer on Game of Thrones. With amazing cast, international cast from Cécile de France, Sharon Duncan Brewster, Oliver Masucci from Dark, and many more. It's also a co-production together with Hulu Japan, which is also amazing because they add something from that region as well. And the show is 8x45. It's currently in post-production because there will be many special effects in it. It's basically, the story is that there's a environmental thriller about how there are creatures in the oceans and everything goes wrong, and there are like different disasters happening at the same time. So there are like creatures in the ocean that kind of fight back to humanity for all the bad that we've done to them. And since the show is in post-production, and we hope that it will be ready by next year, by spring, and we distribute it together with Better Films. So please reach out to me, and I hope that there will be something to show at MIPCOM in autumn.
Something to show at MIPCOM and possibly deliver at MIPTV, if you're saying.
We're working on that, so I hope, fingers crossed, that everything works out, because there's so many special effects, and it's such a it's environmental thriller, so there will be creatures in it, and I think it takes them more than a year to do the special effects. So I'm really looking forward. I think it will look amazing. It has like overwhelming budgets that we're really happy about, so fingers crossed, looking forward to it.
Great, thank you, Julia. I have a quick question for Kelly that's just come in terms of possibly picking up on your comment about, other genres that might be relevant for Ramadan. And as far as All Three Media International's catalogue is concerned, could you tell us about other genres, possibly comedy, moving away from drama?
Yes, yeah, we do have a very strong comedy slate as well in the catalogue. So we've got long-standing comedies such as Peep Show, Shameless, which is kind of comedy drama, and moving more into the kind of more recent hit shows like Fleabag and Back to Life. So they've done phenomenally well internationally, and we are looking at more and more comedies at the moment. So yeah, we have a few new projects that I think will be announced at MIPCOM or later on in the year from the makers of Fleabag. So there's an exciting project coming up there.
And in terms of how, I mean, Fleabag has had a phenomenal global success. Would you say that, given your territories, would you say that the, target buyers are more the streaming platforms?
Yes. So Fleabag was originally commissioned by BBC Three in the UK and then co-produced with Amazon globally. So it's gone on the SVOD service there. But we are seeing, not in the Middle East for censorship reasons, because it is quite risque and quite edgy. But in the rest of the world, there are some local channels that have picked up the rights for Fleabag.
And also, just a quick question in terms of these big US or global streaming deals. In particular, you mentioned Amazon in the US for the English. How do the deals in the MENA region, how do they factor into those global deals, or is it a territory that is easy to carve out of the wider deal?
I think it's a case-by-case basis. With something like the English, Amazon are co-producing in US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand only. So we have the rest of the world. So it's not a global deal. And so it can be the MENA region can be factored in separately, can be carved out. It just depends on the title and the investment from the co-production partner as well.
And is that pretty much the same situation for you, Julia, in terms of for example, Boundless with the deal with Prime Video? Even though these are commissions from the global streamers, it's still a possibility, and buyers and commissioners should reach out to you.
Yeah, so it's like the same. So it's not always that they take all the rights around the world. So we basically have the rights outside of their original territories. And for Middle East, it's we have all the rights, for example, and for many other territories as well. So that's why we're like, also offering it not only to channels, but also to VOD platforms. As those territories where Amazon is, we only usually have like limited rights, but they don't necessarily take in the entire world.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Just another question for you, Julia. So today you've decided to showcase a very, very varied lineup. If we take your costume dramas, do you think this is a genre that is set to grow in popularity? And again, do you foresee ZDF Studios investing more in this type of sort of period drama?
So I think period drama has been always kind of popular. You can see it on Boundless, you can see on some other programs, other players, I will not name them, we all know about it. I think it's, we're open for everything, as long as it's a great content. And I think it doesn't matter if it's a costume drama or like contemporary drama, as long as it's great content, well told, well directed, it doesn't make a difference. But I think like with stories like, Boundless, it's a piece of history. There is a lot of real events that really happened. So it's that's why it's a costume drama, but we're not necessarily only concentrate on that kind of dramas. We concentrate like on great content. And I think that's what we're aiming for, to have great content in the entire range in any language that can travel.
Okay, so in terms of the next question, people are particularly interested in, so maybe for you, Kelly, the listeners today are interested in what is trending. I mean, you both seem to say that it doesn't really matter what the genre is, it's about the stories. But Kelly, have you picked up on anything that is, trending particularly in your territories at the moment?
I would say the action thriller, definitely. I think that is driving buyers and driving audiences all over the world, really. And in EMENA, it's no exception to that trend at all. As Julia was saying, it's high quality. It's, if it's well-produced content, you know, as we said, it doesn't really, the genre isn't necessarily the main focus of it. It's that it's a good story, that it's well-produced content, but action thrillers, I think, are seeing a real moment, as well as some true crime. We have a lot of true crime stories, dramas in our catalogue, and I think it's just interesting to kind of see the retelling of those stories that not everybody would have heard about. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of that at the moment.
Fantastic. And Julia, would you agree with Kelly on in terms of those genres that you've seen, you know, trending at the moment?
I think definitely action is something that people always looking for. We also have a lot of crime, which is working well as well. Like, you know, I said already, example of Bron, the Bridge, the original from Sweden and Denmark, the Crimson Rivers, for example, Before We Die is also a crime series. So crime is for us also a genre that worked really well. Comedies are sometimes tricky because like not every comedy can travel. Like if we have like maybe a German comedy that will work here, it doesn't necessarily mean it will work everywhere, but there are some like exceptions, as we know, Fleabag. Definitely I think it's more about actually as I say, the package, what it's all about. If it's like casting, story, and so on, it's a little bit more complex than just say action is great, because action is not always the same action. So, you know, that's why I think great content, I would always say great content works everywhere.
Fantastic. So now I have a bit more of a technical question. The audience would like to hear from both of you in terms of what is your opinion on the effect of subtitling for extending and investing in the media industry, especially in terms of the streaming platforms. So in terms of your particular roles, it probably is more beneficial to go back to the question of, you know, do you see that you are going to have to invest more in the local language, the dubbing upfront, and offer that to your audience, whereas previously you would sell the program and they would take care of the localization? Do you foresee having to do that or manage that more as part of the deal going forward? Sorry, over to you, Julia, and then we'll go to Kelly.
Thank you. I think in terms of localization, like all of our non-English programs, there's already subtitled into English. So usually buyers can understand and can listen to it. It also depends on the territory. If the territory requires us to do the subtitling, of course, we can take care of it. We have all the facilities. It just depends. It's a case-by-case decision if you need to do it or not. And it always depends like what you're looking for. And as well, in some territories, it's more necessary than the others. So I would say, yes, we can look into that if there is requirement from the territory.
And Kelly, what's your viewpoint on reversioning and dubbing and subtitling for your clients?
So at the moment, we are not offering the full package of where we dub the program into Arabic or subtitles for the clients. We kind of leave that to the clients and to the platforms and channels to do, because they have the better relationships. They may have preferred dubbing agencies or actors that they work with, and they're the experts. They're on the ground. They know better than us for Arabic language. So we're not offering that at the moment. That could change in the future. I think at the moment in terms of our dubbing offerings, it's a case-by-case basis, and we generally at the moment are focusing on French, German, Spanish, Italian, the kind of main European languages. That's the offering that we have it. If it is a non-English language show that we are distributing, we will have English closed captions available, but the clients can obviously take just the original language and then subtitle into their own local languages themselves.
Great, thank you very much. Well, I think that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for both of you and everyone for listening in and attending today. Thank you, Kelly Scheck. Thank you, Julia Fischer. To the audience, in case you didn't watch the full session, a recording of this webinar will be published on the DICM.AE website this week. The next webinar will be taking place on the 21st of September, and the theme will be the best of Spanish content. To end our webinar, I would like to remind you that the Dubai International Content Market will be taking place from November 23rd to the 24th in Dubai. For more information, you can visit their website, dicm.ae. Thank you to everyone. Goodbye.